Okay, we're doing another multi-stream test here. So far, so good. FPS is looking good, not great. Dropping to high 40s here and there, which is okay. The audio seems fine, which is what I want. Okay, audio's dropping a bit there. Struggling a little bit, but I'm gonna lower it slightly. Prime Hack audio is way up. That shouldn't be. I'll reduce those a bit so you guys can hear me better. Bringing it back. Okay, the good news is the frame rates aren't dropping below 40 so far, but nothing big is happening on the screen, like a fight with anything. So we'll see what happens. I really, really want to avoid any kind of freezing. I'm still using Vulkan in the background. That makes me nervous for my graphics driver. But we'll see what happens. Okay, frame rates are still looking good. Everything I've researched says my rig should be able to handle multi-streaming if I get the right settings. I understand that emulation is extremely taxing on a system, and something like Prime Hack along with streaming might not be the best combination here. But we're going to give it a shot anyway. If I can come through clear, if I can get frame rates above 40 consistently, and the audio isn't too bad, I'm going to keep doing it. And when I say audio, I mean game audio, not my audio. You guys should be able to hear me. I feel like that's what hopefully makes it interesting. If I am doing a longer stream, I just hope it all comes through. But thanks for anyone being persistent and checking these out to support. I really appreciate it. All right. What's unfortunate is, some things that I tried to make clips kind of got lost in the past 3 streams, so, I'll try to reiterate here and there, but hopefully this will be the next launch of something good happening for my channel. And it's possible I'll complete this before Prime 4 comes out. But like I said, I don't have the money right now to pick up Prime 4, so we're going to have to stick with Prime 3 and make sure I get a nice informed opinion before I dive into Prime 4. Hopefully after Christmas. Like a child, I have to ask for it for a Christmas present. But it's okay. My wife, as someone who doesn't really like video games, has been supportive of me in that way, so I appreciate that. Kids are super excited about it. They see me coming in here and playing video games, and they want to know what I'm doing, but they're a little too young for that. And as I said last time, I'm pretty snobbish when it comes to the games my kids play. As I mentioned before in some of my other shorts, with which some of you have interacted with, and I appreciate. I'm not the kind of person that views all games as equal. And when I say equal, I don't mean like this is a good game, this is a bad game. I mean games that are beneficial to play for a person and detrimental to a person. It's my Twinkie analogy. It's like Twinkies are really fun to enjoy, but if you eat a lot of Twinkies, You're going to get fat. You're going to get lazy. You're going to come to depend on the nice sugar dopamine hit. And I liken some games are like that through and through. Other games have aspects of them that are not quite good. And as I mentioned before, gacha games, I feel uh, they're not just on that line. Some of them do have redeeming qualities. Others, I feel that there are no redeeming qualities to them, because the core mechanic itself is gacha. You know, you get deep into these games and you find yourself not actually playing them at a point. You just kind of uh, go around and collect things. Like when I was into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which I do think has some merit to it, um, I would spend like half hour a day collecting stuff. Not even actually playing the main aspect, the main core mechanic of the game, and I think that's what it is. When the main core mechanic is uh, gotcha elements to kind of get you to keep coming back for more and more and more, I feel like you can kind of tell. Like the battle system itself was a lot of fun, but man, I just feel like with a lot of these games, they're so very clearly pay to win that you really can't. Um, there's no way around it. Like only the people who have tons and tons of money will win these games. Like no amount of skill or studying um, the different metas out there will get you to. Well, that's not good. Will get you to compete on a level of like a whale. You just can't do it. Which is really unfortunate because I mean I'm pretty competitive with my gameplay. That's why I really enjoy challenges and things like that. But in that game I really wanted to compete, but I just couldn't keep up. It was, you know, a new character comes out, you're gonna drop $300, and if that character happens to be a new meta character, you're just out of luck. Like you're not going to be able to keep up with that whale who keeps spending hundreds and thousands of dollars every single month for the new stuff. So that's a good example, I feel like, of a gacha game there that um, really gets you to rely on quick dopamine hits for your play. And I don't want to teach my kids that is something that they can expect from their games. I want them to understand that challenge is an inherent part of gaming, and it is also an inherent part of life. And if they can't endure challenges in video games, if they can't, you know, if they enjoy playing video games but they can endure any kind of challenge or any type of grit when it comes to going through a hard video game segment, you know, it's not going to teach them well for life as well. That's just my own personal philosophy. If you're someone who likes to play games because you like the relaxation there, then I totally understand. That's fine. But I will say challenge is an inherent part of every single video game. Even games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, there is a challenge there. It's just not as overt as like an alien jumping at you and trying to kill you. It's there. And if it wasn't there, the game would be boring. See, like life, challenges make things interesting in video games. And as much as challenges in life suck, sometimes, most time, that you know, on a personal philosophical note, I believe that the challenges we face shape us and grow us. And I do think that because of the potency video games have to affect players and their prevalence in society now, especially with mobile gaming, I think overall this gotchification of the mobile gaming space, which is by far and away greater than any other gaming space, has not helped our culture. This is a thought I haven't really expressed very much, or gone in depth with. I do want to talk on it more, because of the time it took me to set everything up this morning. Don't really have time to go too in depth with it, but I hope to expound upon this more in the future. Like, what is it that makes a game quality versus a game that is not quality? And by quality, I don't just mean a good game. I mean a game that is worth playing. Good is a little subjective. I'm not just talking about good. I'm not talking about player retention rate. I'm not even talking about the number of players it has. I think a game can have a large number of players and be a worthless game with bad programming best practices and bad game design, bad game mechanic design, all that stuff. There can be a way where, frame rate's dropping a lot here. Oof, makes me nervous. But yeah, a game can have good numbers and sell well and still be a not quality game. A game that is not really worth your time playing. A game that does nothing for you as a player and as a person. And I do want to explore that idea in the future. It's like, what are some benefits of gaming? I do think that fun in and of itself has intrinsic value. Okay, that just basically means it's good to have fun, even if you can't see any worth to it. But like everything, there's not all fun is created equal, and some things are not worth doing even though they're fun. So yeah, I'd like to explore that. Hopefully, I'd like to think about, I'd like to get some feedback on what people think. What are some of the benefits of gaming? I think proponents of who say that gaming there's no benefits at all, I can understand their arguments, but it's too late right now. You can't close Pandora's box again. Gaming is here to stay. It is larger than Hollywood when it comes to how much it makes the industry, and it's always going to be here now. And it's only going to get more and more prevalent, especially with AI and VR and everything like that. And I want the discussion on the benefits of gaming and gaming itself to only increase, so we can not just dive head on into an uncertain future where we're all living in just a pod in our virtual life, but understand that there's some good aspects to the virtual worlds we create and some bad aspects to them, and learn how to avoid them. All right, let's go through here. I gotta get up there. All right, so far so good. A little bit of a stutter there. Hopefully all my live streams are still going. my job as a programmer, when things start to work well, unless there's huge performance issues, don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. So right now I feel like I've got a good setting going. The only thing I might change is the graphics driver for Prime Hack. Vulkan gave me some trouble at the beginning. I lost a few live streams because it kept crashing when I entered a portal, which could happen very shortly. Hopefully we'll encounter a save point soon too, so I can end this. Not that I want to end my time here, but you know, it's about 6 o'clock here, and my oldest child, who's 6, is going to enter very, very shortly. And you know, he's a bit too young to kind of stand here and watch me talk. So, oh, we got a boss fight. That's cool. Yeah, back to the kind of the Twinkie analogy here with games that are worth playing and worth not. Like, when my kids get older, they're going to get a phone eventually. I'm going to delay that as long as possible because I think social media, they need to be taught how to use it properly, and games also function as a social media platform. So I want them to understand. I want to give them, I don't want to say the term media literacy because I don't really like that term, but in a sense I want to give them video game literacy. I want them to understand what I just discussed about how some games are good to play, some games are bad to play, and why that is. And I'd like to be able to get them to, you know, be able to engage with a game I would consider low quality or bad, so that they can understand why. And this all goes back to, as well, what I said in my previous live stream. You know, if a game gets to the point where it causes you to desert your duty, as Tolkien put it, then it's becoming a problem. If it's causing you to want to play it even though you don't really want to play it, and this has actually happened to me, and I know others with gacha games that take advantage of these gambling mechanics, where it's like you don't really want to play, but you feel like you have to because if you don't log in and play, you're going to lose rewards. That's a gacha mechanic. That is a kind of like something you'd see in like a casino, where if you don't show up, you're going to miss out on something. Now, I'm not saying that every game that implements something like that is bad. Like Breath of the Wild had its own form of loot boxes that you could log in once a day and use your amiibos to get those loot boxes, but those were not an inherent part of the game. You were missing out on some extra rewards for sure, but you weren't going to lag behind in the game. Okay, it wasn't like you needed that one thing to beat Ganondorf. Sure, it made it easier, but most of them were extra stuff, extra gimmicks. So yes, that is a gacha mechanic, and it was a loot box mechanic, but it was not something that I felt caused the game to really falter in any way. Now, if you're like me, I didn't use any kind of amiibos in my first playthrough because I wanted to beat the game as is. That, I feel, is the one valid argument for not having that mechanic in there, whereas, you know, someone who's playing the game would be tempted to not really attempt to beat it on its own, and just take the short and easy path of using amiibos to get all the best equipment right away and just not really try. That's where I feel like I disagree with some people. I think the mere existence of mechanics that allow you to make things easier in games causes players to not push themselves and grow in their skill as a player, because Some people will just give up too quickly, and that's really what it is. They just give up too quickly. Like even something like being able to adjust difficulty on the fly. Like at any point in the game, I could hit pause and adjust the difficulty. Like I don't like that. I think it should be difficult. Not difficult, but you should have to either start a save file over again or start a save file over again, or at least exit the game, you know, and end your progress and have to start from a save point or a checkpoint. And you should be docked for it. If the game keeps tracks of points and achievements, there should be some sort of flag to let this, you know, you didn't beat it. Sorry, you didn't beat it on its hardest setting, like, or on the setting that you set out to. That's just what it is. We don't want to dumb down games to meet the lowest common denominator, and by that I mean there should be a balance between players, the casual players who just want an easier experience, not a completely challengeless experience, and the players who want something more. And part of a good game designer is to test and retest the difficulty of their games. Dynamic difficulty adjustment and quick and easy difficulty settings that you can change whenever, I feel can make players lazy, and it can make game devs lazy to not really pay attention to the difficulty of their game. You know, the player's just going to change it anyway, so why even make this part hard? You know, why fine tune this boss when I know they're just gonna hit the skip boss button? Really, a game's difficulty from an artistic standpoint can be part of the artistic expression of the game. Celeste did this very well. Hollow Knight and Silksong do this very well. Part of the feel of the game is brought about by the difficulty itself. And when game designers ignore that, that's when something is lost. Something is lost to the art of video game design and the art of and the true benefit a player could have. So that's just a little bit of a taste of that right there. I think there's much more that could be said, and I'd like to hear what people think. I'm not getting too many views right now, but hopefully my shorts do generate some traffic, and I've gotten some good comments and feedback. So I'd love to hear what everybody thinks with regards to that. All right, I'm pushing my luck here with my timing, but hopefully everything turned out okay. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Actually got one person to join the chat, which is great. Thank you, Lurks, for sticking around for the minute that you did. I appreciate it anyway. Yeah, hopefully the settings I got right, and we'll be able to multi-stream on a few different platforms here. So thank you all, guys. I'll talk to you later.